big yawn, and she says, I couldn't kill that child. And when she realized what she was doing, she says, I couldn't kill my child.
Thank God for that.
And, so the sonograms really do, they do serve a purpose, at least to somebody who has a heart who looks at them and says, this is a child. I can't murder. And they realize this is exactly what they're in there to do. Yeah. And now this young girl, I wish, there's reasons why I can't mention her name, and so I'm going to honor her on that. But she decided, and she's going to go through and have this child. I knew a young conservative man a few years ago. His wife was pregnant, and he says, with everything the way it is, economics are down. This was back in 2008. I can't afford this child. What do I do? We're considering, and he is a Christian man who came out strong against abortion. He says, we're considering abortion. And I had to sit there and say, do you think abortion's wrong? And he goes, yeah. I says, why do you find it's wrong? He says, well, I don't want to state. I says, no, you have to tell me why you feel abortion is wrong. I pulled it out of him. He says, it's murder. I says, are you willing to murder your child? He says, well, it's still in the womb. And he started giving me the excuses. And I pointed at his 2-year-old son right there. I says, can you kill that child right now? He says, no, that's my child. I says, the one in her womb is no different.
That's right.
None.
Right. Well, did you guys happen to see the head of the National Abortion Rights Action League, ARAL Pro-Choice America, at the Democrat convention?
I have to say,
she was saying, well, it wasn't the right time to have the baby, so she killed it, and the applause was deafening.
Yeah.
It was almost as deafening applause as your con got when he attacked Donald Trump.
I have to tell you, I am at this point glad I missed that, because I would have lost it. I really would have lost it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that when the Bible tells us, like I said at the beginning, I am the biblical philologist. When the Bible tells us that our Lord loves us and that he knit us in the womb,
right,
to sit there and think that the Lord loves us so much and he only wants good for us, and yet the evil of mankind can once again show its ugly face and rip apart a child inside the womb. And I'm using that word, ripped apart. You might think I'm trying to be graphic about that, but that's exactly what they do. Exactly what they rip them limb from limb from the womb to get them out and say it's the right.
And where is all of these advocate groups that say that is such an important issue that they publicize and dominate the news cycle day after day after day because of one person being killed by a policeman that's defending himself.
Hillary Clinton and Bill and Gore and all these people were saying not so long ago abortion has to be safe, legal, and rare.
Yes.
Well, it may be legal, but it certainly isn't safe.
Let me ask this
question. It certainly isn't rare.
Let me ask this question for any politician that says that they need to make abortion safe and rare.
Yeah.
The question to ask them is, why do they need to make it rare? If they have no problem with it, if they see nothing wrong with it, why does it need to be rare?
Well, look what Hillary did. Now, her and her husband were saying that they wanted abortion to be safe, legal, and rare. She wants the federal government to fund it. She says that a right, if you can't access a right when you want to access it, then it's not a right.
But you see, we're walking past this point, and this is what I want to get at. Why do they say they want to make it rare? Unless they know in their heart that it needs to be rare because it's wrong.
Well, I think that the reason why they said that was to get people on their side. And once they got to the point where it's so much accepted and people are actually defending Planned Parenthood.
Okay, folks, we're coming up at 5 till. I want to get out this information one more time because there is one other thing I want to talk about real quickly that will only take a few minutes, but I want to get this out. Folks, the name of the book, once again, is called The Negro Project, Margaret Sanger's Diabolical, Duplicitous, Dangerous, Disastrous, and Deadly Plan for Black America. Written by Bruce Fleury. Last name is Fleury. The reason I give you that spelling is you can Google this book and find out the number of places to get it because he's got a whole list of them. So, again, Bruce Fleury's book, The Negro Project. Get it. It is educational. It is well studied. I've gone through it. It is done at a scholarly level. I was hoping when I got it, that's exactly what I would get, and you did not let me down on this. This research is remarkable on this, and you take your time to footnote everything, and that's great. The first thing I look at when I look at a book is the footnotes. So I want to thank you, Bruce, for joining us, and you have a blessed day, and
Thank
keep
you,
up
Bruce.
the good work.
Okay, God bless you guys both, and keep it up. Phil, keep knocking them dead down there earlier in the morning on Saturdays.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I love you guys. Take
All
care.
right.
Love you too,
Bye.
Bruce.
We'll see you.
And that's right. He mentioned Phil, and Saturday mornings, Phil joins me, and it's always a blessing to have you on the air with me. It really
Well,
is. And I know you get up early in the morning. I guess you got a show that starts at 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Yeah, until I found out you had a show on at 7 a.m., I did not know there were two of those in the daytime, 2 7 o'clocks in the daytime.
Yeah.
But your show is the Abolitionist Roundtable.
Yeah.
It is always, when I get a chance to wake up early enough to listen to that,
Yes.
I do, but
Yeah.
I have to admit that I normally like my sleeping in. A few weeks ago, and I got to cover this, a few weeks ago, someone called me up and asked me a question. I was a guest on lovely Linda's show, The American Dream, and someone called up. I was talking about the leaders, and God selects our leaders, and someone asked me if I believe that God selects all leaders, and then gave examples such as Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, and stuff like that, and my answer was yes. And I gave him a biblical response, but I didn't give him the Bible in the verse. And so, folks, yes, I do believe that God selects all leaders, and he has his purposes for it. We may not always know what they are. But one of the verses I like to go to when I read that is the Daniel. And Nebuchadnezzar was the king. He was a terrible, terrible, ruthless man. If you actually study him, he was brutal. He had no problem talking about killing babies. He would kill babies and pile them up. He would he was ruthless with his enemies. He would dismember man, woman, and child. The guy was absolutely cruel. And so in his life, God talks to him, and he says to them, in Daniel, if you want the verse, Daniel 4, I'm going to go into verse 32, and God talking to Nebuchadnezzar says, and they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, then shall make you eat grass like oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you until you know, I'm sorry, this is Daniel talking to him, until you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whoever he chooses. God chooses the leaders, and now we have to sit back and sometimes wonder why. And if we look at people like Hitler, well, Germany was moving in a way that was very anti-Semitic. It was practicing, as our last guest pointed out, they had their own eugenics movement already starting and going into effect. Germany hated everyone, and they started throwing them out. So they got the leader they deserved.
Yes.
And so that is why I gave that answer. And if you want to know, again, that was in Daniel 4. God picks all leaders. You all have a blessed day. Thank you, Phil, for joining us.
It's been my pleasure.
And have a good day. Bye-bye.